I'm finally here, standing in front of the home of Ducati, Borgo Panigale. The trip started yesterday when I landed in Bologna. Saw that prototype Lamborghini in the Bologna airport, and then I had to go down the road. It was only about 28 kilometers. Went to the home of Lamborghini and the museum. I brought you a quick episode from that museum, some really exquisite cars displayed there. But yes, this is my 7th World Ducati Week, starting back with the World Ducati Week 2010. I did 2012, 14, 16, 18. There was none with the COVID in 2020, but then I was back 2 years ago, World Ducati Week 2020. I brought you some episodes there, day 1, 2, and 3. I did some museums around the areas, from Moto Guzzi to MV Agusta to Benelli. But what I'll do on this trip, same starting yesterday with the Lamborghini Museum. Today I'm going to go into the Ducati Museum. Yes, I brought you a full episode 2 years ago, what the museum looks like here in Borgo Panigale. But I will have a look what's changed, share that with you. Hopefully we can find Pecco Bagnaglia's bike, maybe Bautista's bike, some interesting stuff, but I'll bring that to you. And then what's going to happen is this afternoon I'm going to go by car all the way to the Adriatica, Misano, where World Ducati Week will happen starting tomorrow, and I'll bring you that episode, and who knows what else I can find along the way. After my factory tour, I now walked into the main building, where on the second floor is the museum. As you can see at the entrance, you're greeted with a new scrambler, a model. That model has also been revamped, and here you can see quite a stealthy looking one. That model is known as the Night Shift. But as you walk into the museum, you are reminded where it all started. Pre-World War II, Ducati was making cameras, typewriters, transistors, resistors, and stuff like that. No motorcycles. After World War II, they found a need for transport, and that's where it all started with a Cucciolo. But this bike here, this limited edition, this grabbed my fancy and would be something I would put in the dream garage. It's a V4 Panigale, and as you can see, signed by Bautista. It's the special livery they raced with in that yellow. Here you can see Bautista right down to the name on the screen. Limited edition, and absolutely stunning as he raced it, and it actually pops in yellow. It works for me, and this bike really spoke to me. Limited edition again. As you can see, this is a pre-production because its number is XXX. Here in the foyer you see a couple more models, the Desert X, some interesting ones here, the mono single, the Hyper Motard with a single motor, and the big advertising World Ducati Week 2024. Now the museum, walking around, I did an episode, a full detailed episode of all the bikes in my World Ducati Week trip 2022, where I did the Ducati Museum. And as you're walking around this big circle, it's very much the same as it was. I will blend that museum, Ducati Museum, in from 2022 at the end. But you can see there's a couple of gaps along the way. Same as always, over here 3 gaps, and it would be the 916, like the Carl Fogarty 916 for 94, 95, the Troy Corsa 916, and that is because at World Ducati Week 2024 there is a tribute and a celebration to the 916 show. Here you have the MotoGP bike, Casey Stoner, the Troy Bayliss 1098R, the Dovizioso, and here are the 2 bikes I was looking for, Pecco Bagnaia MotoGP bike and the Superbike winner for Alvaro Bautista. Now both these bikes are 2022 bikes, as you can see, because both riders have been using the number 1 plate during 2023 and retained their titles. Here you can see the 2022 bike using number 19. But what surprised me with this bike is if you come up and look at it closely, it is very rough. It's not a refined, neat, clean bike, but I suppose it's all about lightness and speed, not cosmetics. Here you can see the petrol tank with the welds and that engine opened. Really, on the camera, on TV, you don't really see how rough it is. They look stunning, and here the synergy with Lamborghini on the front, Pecco's bike of 2022. And again, stunning looking bike from far, but when you get up close, here you can see Pecco's name on the screen. But as I was saying, when you get up close to the bike, you can really see that it's unrefined, it's really the minimalistic, and really nothing smart or fancy. I mean, those wings actually look like Tyrannosaurus Rex, but effective. So everything on that bike is all about lightness and effective. Nothing that you don't need on this bike. You can see quite minimalistic and rough, a very slim and skinny bike. Now, in contrast to that bike, here you can see the description, the 2022 bike. Now, in contrast, Dovi's bike of a few years ago, now that is pretty. That is well finished off, really nice and refined, really pretty bike, and classy, smart bike. So quite an interesting comparison between the two bikes. But going into this room, some iconic bikes that I have to mention again. This is the Desmo Seidaichi. It's a production bike from the GP06 of Caparossi, and because MotoGP went from 1000cc to 800 when Casey Stoner won the championship in 2007, they made the GP06 into a street legal bike limited to 1500 units, exhaust out the top, really stunning bike, also a dream bike for the garage. Next to that, in the same room, you have the 1199 Panigale, the Super Leggera. And that's really in a bright orange. Here you can see Super Leggera 1199 Panigale. Everything about that bike is ultralight. Composite materials, magnesium, really. It looks the same as the standard Panigale, but has nothing in common with it. Now, ever present, the race history, the trophies for Ducati. That is what they're synonymous with racing. Here, the leathers from the years, the early black leathers, then getting more refined, then Carl Fogarty with his helmet, then it's Troy Bayliss, as you can recognize with his helmet, and the last one is Casey Stoner. So that's the evolution of leathers and helmets. But going into another room, here is the original Scrambler 450. Now this is heritage, and this is where that story started with a Scrambler, and good to see it's still going. Here's the twin, the bevel gears, the story on that, and all about the bevel gear. I've got a Mike Hellwood in my collection with a bevel like that. Here is the 750 GT. And here in the corner, what I wanted to show you, the Desert X is not a novelty. Ducati together with Gajiva have been rallying in Africa and Paris-Dakar. Here you can see Ducati in the Gajiva days with the Gajiva font still on it, and quite successfully raced this model. So the Desert X is not the first rodeo for Ducati when it comes to the endurance and off-road. Here's where the story started after World War II with a Cucciolo for little puppy, and that was a little motor that you strapped onto a bicycle, so you had transport. Leaving the museum, still in the main building, it was pretty sad and unfortunate, but fully understandable why I couldn't take any footage in the factory during the factory tour. But there were some interesting statistics being told. 1,200 people working there. In peak season, they can produce up to 330 bikes per day. Low season, as it is now, they doing roughly 200, just over 200 motorcycles. Now, the Corsa department, no one gets to see, but it's obviously all top secret, and you don't want industrial espionage. So it's interesting. We saw a couple of engine production lines, the 4-cylinder, the 2-cylinder, and also the mono. The mono is built on the same line, engine line, as the twins, And then the multi-stradas, there's also a new building that was added, which is the dress-up shop. So it was really interesting and slightly different from 2 years ago. But these are all visitors' bikes, and now moving on. Just leaving Ducati again, I just wanted to show you, if you look in the distance, there's a yellow building with green shutters. Here's a lime yellow building with green shutters, a little bit orangey with green shutters, yellow with green shutters, and yellow with green shutters. You have the gray, the yellow, and the green color. And so the cement color, the yellow, the green shutters, and the brown roof. So those are pretty much where I got my colors from with my museum at home. Even if you look at these clay bricks on the side, that's my feature wall. So everything was inspired by the surroundings here. Also later I'll show you the Moto Guzzi factory, the original home of Moto Guzzi, which is still the home of Moto Guzzi in Mandello dell'Aria, and the same colors. It's all about the brown, the gray, the yellow, and the green. So hope you guys are enjoying the video with me. Carrying on with my Italian tour, finished in Bologna with a Ducati factory tour, Ducati Museum. I'm driving down to Misano, the Adriatic coast. So I had to stop along the way at Imola. Imola, the reason being, it's 2024, and back in 1994, 30-year anniversary this year, on the 1st of May, Ayrton Senna sadly lost his life at this circuit, Imola, also known as the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo e Dino Ferrari. And here you can see some really iconic statues. This is the one with the Ferrari F40s, and over there you can see the Ferrari one. I'm going to take you in now, show you the restaurant and the souvenir shop inside. But it's a really famous circuit. There's many awesome winners, from Jim Clark to Gilles Villeneuve to Ayrton Senna. Michael Schumacher won many times here. Very famous circuit, but also very sad because Ayrton Senna lost his life. And another very famous guy who lost his life, I did an episode, a tribute episode for, is Ray Am. Now Ray Am was a Rhodesian, now known as Zimbabwe, came to South Africa, won everything there, and then he went as a privateer to race Nortons at the Isle of Man. Became a Norton factory rider, the #1 factory rider. He even developed a Norton Kneeler with the guys, and then he moved to MV Agusta. And very sadly, 1955, I think it was Easter weekend, he lost his life here at this race circuit. Back then, it was founded in 53, I think, the circuit, and back then it was a street circuit. And when Ray Am was racing for the lead on his 500cc MV Agusta, he unfortunately low-sided, lost the front end, and slid off. Nothing serious. However, being a street circus, his head hit one of the poles, street pole, a lamp pole, whatever it was, but sadly lost his life. So I did an episode, a tribute episode for Ray Am, and the reason being is I have very proudly got some of his awesome trophies in my Route 21 collection, which are very dear to me, and I met some of the family. Stunning people. So have a look at that episode. But what I'm going to do now is going to take you for a walk inside, show you the restaurant inside, the museum shop, and then we'll take a walk through the forest to go have a look at the tribute wall, Tamburello, where Ayrton Senna sadly lost his life, and the statue in his memory, that pensive pose of Ayrton Senna. This is such a cool tribute to, over there, the Austrian Roland Ratzenberger, who lost his life the Saturday before Ayrton Senna on the 1st of May 1994, 30-year anniversary this year. There's a picture of Ayrton Senna go-karting, very famous, and Ayrton Senna in the helmet, Brazilian, with his gloves. Really cool tribute to him. Here's some more wall art, and stunning. You can see that's obviously a Ducati. Here you can see Enzo Ferrari, the silhouette of a Ferrari, instantly recognizable. Jim Clark, and some really famous riders back in the day. Stunning. Here you have Imola, 21 April 1963, and that does look like Jim Clark. Let's have a look. Let's go around here. Yes, in the Lotus, Jim Clark. Very cool art and stunning. There's some guys on Ducatis already, and here's that famous Ferrari tower. Now, once you go inside to the main pit building, you see this is the restaurant. It also has outside seating as well as inside seating, and it has a very, very cool vibe about it. As you enter it, you can see here's the champions depicted, but you can see the inside seating, and as you look around these windows, you look straight onto pit lane. And other side of that red wall is the main straight and the main straight grandstands. So you're really close to the action. And here against the wall are some really cool pictures. This is a classic AC Cobra Racing. There's a World Superbike racing pic, Chaz Davies leading Johnny Ray. That's through the final chicane. Classic Alfa Romeo, and behind it that very famous control tower with the Ferrari emblems on top here. Some more Superbike racing depicted, sports car racing, and just all round a cool vibe about it. Here these big posters are champions, Jim Clark over here, Niki Lauda the second one. It tells you who won, how many times they won, and it goes down the row here. Gilles Villeneuve, I think he only finished second. That's the best he could do, but very famous, iconic racer in Formula One. And the last two would be Ayrton Senna, and next to Ayrton Senna here it also tells you how many times he won that race. And here is Michael Schumacher with multiple wins. Here you can see the Imola racetrack from 1953 to 2023. That's the line of Campioni. And turning left into here, you have the souvenir gift shop. First thing you see is a Formula One car, Toro Rosso, and I think this is Carlos Sainz's car. And here you see, obviously starting off with Ayrton Senna, a lot of memorabilia for Ayrton Senna, but then all other teams, whether Mercedes, whether Aston Martin, Red Bull, a lot of merchandise to be had here. Also track merchandise from Imola, some of the history of Imola, from key rings to fridge magnets to pens, also clothing. And here is books, history on the track, and all the stuff, bags, going to the end. Now at the end you have some really cool helmets. This signed helmet by Giacomo Agostini, signed helmet by Alex Zanardi, Noboru Ueda, Jorge Lorenzo, Phil Weed, Loris Capirossi, Virginia Ferrari, Mick Doohan. Now at the end of the souvenir shop, gift shop, you can see the simulators. There are some different types of simulators, but next thing is we're taking a walk to the Senna Memorial, and that's about a 10 to 15 minute walk, but really stunning walk through residential area, a lot of nature and forest. And right up ahead there, where you see the next fence full of flags, it just carries on and on over here and over here in front of us. You can see there's that statue of Ayrton Senna sitting pensively facing the wall, the outside wall where he lost his life. Have a look at this tribute to the man. Talk about a racing rider, driver being loved by the nations. Every flag is over here, every country represented. Just looking back, leaving the site and the memorial, the statue of Ayrton Senna. If we go around here, you can actually see the circuit and you can see the chicane that was built after his fatal accident. Just to slow things down, because I think it was Gerhard Berger who also had a near fatal accident here at the Tamburello corner, and he very fortunately survived it. I actually think, trivia fact here, that he hit the wall at a slightly higher speed than Ayrton Senna, but he just got burnt. The problem with Ayrton Senna was the front suspension that made impact with his helmet. So a little bit of unfortunate freak accident, but it is what it is. And here you can see the circuit. You can see that chicane that was put in to slow things down before they went flat out through this bend. And this is where it happened. So absolutely stunning circuit, stunning place to be at, and it's just very sad that it got tarnished, but awesome, and what a privilege to be able to travel to Italy and be here. Stunning location, just a stunning place to be in. If you're ever in Italy, Imola is a place you have to come and visit. The next stop was the Misano race circuit, where we got our arm bracelet and our entry tickets to the World Ducati Week 2024 for all 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And guys, if you enjoyed this episode, please remember, hit that like button, give me a thumbs up. But most important of all, please hit that subscribe button to help me build the channel. And if you like, the reminder bell so you always know when I'm uploading next. And the next episode will be World Ducati Week 2024.